Alright guys, what's going on? It's Jack and welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be going over the maps. All the 16 multiplayer maps have pretty much been revealed at this point, so I just want to go over them and go over my thoughts and then obviously go over the pictures. So there's not going to be any gameplay in the background. There's going to be basically screenshots and then me going over what I think and all that kind of stuff. So without further ado, let's get into it. So let's get into all of them. Now, first of all, I'm just going to quickly go through the 4 that we got at the beta. So we got Gavutu, we're very familiar with that. Hotel Royale, obviously, Red Star, and Eagle's Nest. Those are the 4 that we got at beta. And then once you get into the new ones, now the first 2 aren't really quote-unquote new because it's already been said that these are going to be remade and brought back. So we got Castle here. Now this one I'm actually looking really forward to because I never played World at War, and I keep on hearing Thunder and Nero Cinema, to name a few, talking about this map specifically, and I'm actually looking forward to playing it. Now, I know it's not going to be exactly the same as it was in World at War because they need to put in doors, destructible doors, which kind of scares the shit out of me. Every single time I mention doors in Call of Duty, it always reminds me of Blame Truth wanting to suplex Joe Secott. What can I say? So, but I'm actually looking forward to playing this one. So I personally think it's going to be fun. I've seen gameplay footage of it, so it definitely looks like it flows very, very well, and it's a very well balanced map for all sorts of different engagements. So I'm actually looking forward to it. And of course, you can't go wrong with the Japanese theme style castle, really. So all right, so the next one here we have Dome, and this is another one that's going to be brought back from World at War, if I'm not mistaken. And it's another really small map, so I wouldn't be surprised at this point if we end up having a Shipment and Dome playlist, because Shipment has been confirmed, but it's not going to come out on launch. It's going to come out on the 17th of November. So, and I believe it's also going to be more similar to the World War II Shipment and not the Modern Warfare 2019 Shipment, which obviously makes sense, but I'm actually talking about from a gameplay point of view. I think it's going to have less verticality, so it's going to play very similar to the Shipment that a lot of the fans know and love from the original Shipment that was in COD 4, as well as Shipment from Call of Duty World War II. So I'm definitely expecting a Shipment / Dome 24/7 playlist or something of that nature. I can already see it coming. So yeah, for those of you guys that like really small maps, I think this one is going to be very much up our alley. So. And it says on the bottom here, the second of our 2 confirmed remasters is Dome, a map requested by Call of Duty fans. In fact, it's reminiscent of smaller maps like Shoot House, Dust, and Shipment, and guarantees frequent bloodshed. So, so yeah, pretty good stuff. So moving on to the next one, I hope I pronounced this one correctly. It's called Bokage or Bokage or Bokage. The Bokage map will see players against each other in a farmer's state that includes a farmhouse, stables, and a home with several tanks laying across it from tank battle in northern France. So when you look at it, I mean, this map over here, just by this screenshot alone, looks like it could be very vibrant, actually. So it obviously, having good colors and appreciating the color palette of a Call of Duty game is also very important, and which also helps with visibility, which we learned from the beta is extremely important. And of course, you really can't go wrong with a farmhouse. Every single time there's ever been kind of those kind of maps in Call of Duty, obviously with a few exceptions here and there, but usually they play pretty well. This screenshot is not enough to tell us everything, but just from whatever I can gather with this, all I can say is that it looks like it could be balanced between being pretty open and with some closed areas in as well, but not so closed to where it's like you can't even counter somebody that's corner camping in them. So we'll see how it plays, but looks pretty good, I guess. So let's move on. We got Haus. Probably butchered that again. So this one is described as the Haus map takes place in a remote wooded location in Germany where special forces train for an overseas invasion of the White House, which is why it includes a mock version of the West Wing that focuses on close quarters combat. So this also, there's nothing wrong with some CQC, classic close quarters combat, with probably a lot of SMG and submachine gun action. I'm sure you can probably get the assault rifles in there as well. Again, when you look at from the previous map into this one, again, the color palette's really good. It seems like the colors really, shine well enough. I don't think it's quite a Treyarch level, but well, actually, you know what? Compared to with Cold War, it looks like it's up there with Cold War. So you can actually, they don't look bleached, so to speak. The colors don't look at least too bleached, at least not from what I can see. And I'm actually really excited to see how this map plays out. So when you say close quarters combat, to me, it's like, okay, usually close quarters combat resembles a small to medium-sized map with plenty of action to be had with people moving around. So I'm all for it. So hopefully it plays as good as it looks, at least from this one screenshot. So we shall see. Moving on to the next one, Decoy. Now, when I first saw this map, the picture of this map, it kind of just reminded me of a combination of Standoff and Slums. And yeah, players will find that Decoy is a medium-sized map made up of a mock town with fake homes and businesses. So yeah, definitely some Standoff vibes on this one, at least from what I saw right away. So I want to see how this one actually plays out. It looks really well balanced, and just from these screenshots, again, it's not enough to get a feel of how it plays, but you know, you got the tree in the middle with Slums over there or whatnot, from what I can see, with the little roundabout going around. But again, just from this screenshot alone, it may look like Sledgehammer may be they're finally on track to actually being given us like balanced maps. Now granted, some of the maps in the game are the way they are. They're remakes, obviously, and I'm sure there's gonna be more remakes. So London Docks has already been confirmed to be remade, I believe, and brought back at some point. And that one's good. So Sledgehammer's maps are usually really hit or miss. They've got some maps that are actually very worthy of being some of the best maps, like for instance London Docks being a really good example. But at the same time, there's also a few maps that, yeah, not very good. But anyway, moving on to the next one, Demonsk, probably butchered that again. But it's a snow map, and we love snow maps. And this map is located on the Royal River that consists of a small church and a village with a river that dives into two separate areas. So again, looks like a medium-sized map, and even if it is larger, again, you got the combat pacing to go with that. And we all love snow maps. I don't see anybody not liking any snow maps. They're always a welcome addition. So yeah, so hopefully this guy will play out. Usually we got the tank over here, classic World War II type. So moving on to the next one, Desert Siege. Now this one, immediately when I saw it, it reminded me of one of the Battlefield games. I don't remember which one exactly. I think it was Battlefield 1. It reminded me of one of the maps on Battlefield 1. Just especially from this angle alone, from looking at this map. So hopefully it plays very well. I'm sure it's not going to be as large as the Battlefield map, that's for sure. Although it says it is a large map. So it says this large map has sand dunes and rock formations for plenty of cover for players to use, and is located right at the source of the Suez Canal, access with railways and oil fields. So hopefully it plays very well. I think this will be a very good addition for certain game modes with higher player counts. So we'll see how it plays out. And it doesn't look like it's too vertical, and it seems fairly open enough. And it's just by looking at this picture, it looks pretty much in tune with what they're planning to give us with everything else that we've seen so far. Moving on to the other one, Numa. One of the smaller maps of COD Vanguard has a machine gun nest in the middle, which acts as the main point of contention for the two opposing sides. So since this one is one of the smaller maps, who knows? They might give us a playlist with just the smaller maps, like or even 3v3 face-off that might make a return. Hopefully they don't make it 6v6 like they did with Cold War, because I personally think 3v3 was awesome, and then they made it 6v6, and I expected them to go back to 3v3, but then they kept it for whatever reason. I mean, I know that fans are also a fan of chaos, so to speak, just like they're fans of camping, but a nice sweet middle ground would have been a 3-on-3, and at most 4v4, but even that would be pushing it. But this would probably be a really good map for 3v3 face-off, or like, let's say, free-for-all, which is one of my favorite game modes. So if they bring back face-off, I think it's going to be great. It'll be a good fit for this map, so we'll see. So looks like we're getting a decent amount of, so far from what I'm seeing, it looks like we're getting a decent amount of smaller, medium, and large size maps, specifically catered towards medium and small. So Oasis, speaking of medium, this one is described as a medium-sized map that takes place in a canyon oasis at the center of an allied ambush of Axis reinforcements in a geographical choke point. So this in and of itself is really good, because medium-sized maps, I feel, are pretty much Call of Duty DNA at this point. You don't want to have a map that's way too big unless you're playing a certain game mode, and you don't want to have a map that's way too small, again, unless you're playing a certain game mode. So this one over here, again, you're out there in the desert, there's a few tanks or whatnot. Again, as long as that sun that we see at the top of this screenshot over here, as long as the sun is nerfed to where you can look up and shoot down UAVs without feeling like you're gonna get blind by looking into the sun, then I think we should be good. So moving on to the next one, Subpens, a small size map that takes place in a submarine docking station where players will be able to have plenty of close quarter battles with their enemies. Now, see, look, going back to what I was just saying, another small map, again, that could be put in a small map playlist. They're really, Sledgehammer, just from this alone, it also is another hint that Sledgehammer really is going for it on this one. Like, they're literally trying to appease every single type of Call of Duty player, just by the size of these maps alone. Like, if you want higher paced action or even if you want chaos, there's something here for you. If you want something in the middle, there's something here for you. If you want something large, there's something here for you. So I really can't say no to that. There again, sometimes too many toppings on a pizza could be bad, but at the same time, it really kind of depends on who eats the pizza and what flavor they like and all that kind of stuff. But again, there's also multiple pizzas. You got some pizzas. I love using pizza or food as an analogy. I mean, you got pizzas that have less toppings, you have pizzas that have more toppings, so you can literally make it how you want it. In a sense, it almost makes sense that Battlefield 2042 is going for Portal mode, because with Call of Duty, in terms of what they're doing here, it's almost like a different version of that if you think about it. Not as customizable, obviously, but in terms of multiplayer, being able to choose how many players you want to play, like whether it's traditional 6v6, 10v10, or 12v12, or even more than that, depending on the map, I guess. I personally like those options. As a player, I love the fact that I can customize my experience to how I personally enjoy playing. So I'm looking forward to playing this one. Moving on to the next one. This one is called Tuscan, a small town in the Tuscany Hills that features a medium-sized area with Roman ruins and other buildings providing an environment for combat. Again, like this one kind of almost reminds me of one of those Modern Warfare 2019 maps, to be honest. I don't know if it's going to be quite as campy or whatnot, but again, because of Dead Silence and the way the movement works compared to Modern Warfare 2019, thanks to the update that I made a previous video on, if you haven't seen it already, basically you are going to be able to move around the map and get to know how to properly move around the map without getting killed because somebody can hear you coming from a mile away. So again, I'm not against maps that are not 3 lanes, not at all. I think every single map should have a learning curve. I think it's actually part of the spreading of, it actually spreads the skill gap of players. You really have to get to know the map, and it also keeps you from getting bored, because that's one of the biggest complaints I hear about people that are not really fond of 3-lane maps. They find them boring, so to speak. I'm not one of those people. I enjoy 3-lane maps, and to some extent I'll even say I prefer them, but I'm very open-minded and and I personally think it's really good when the learning curve of a map is a little bit larger, because it really makes those that want to get better work for it, as opposed to something that's given to you. So we'll see how this one plays out. It's a medium-sized map, so can't go wrong with that. The next one is called Battle of Berlin. Now this one reminds me, I believe it's called Aachen, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, from Call of Duty World War II. There's 2 tanks. It even reminds me of a Battlefield map. I believe Battlefield 5, if I'm not mistaken. Could be Battlefield 5. And yeah, I just get a lot of vibes just from that alone. And it almost makes it look like that you can actually like destruct the map if you want by shooting shit on it, but we all know that's not the case. But you got a few tanks here in the middle and stuff like that. So we have a large size urban map that takes place in Berlin, Germany, near the end of the Axis forces last stand. So Allied flank routes, destroyed buildings, and stalled tanks provide various areas for players to battle each other and to use to their advantage. Those are all for COD Vanguard maps that the players will be able to enjoy. Adrenaline fuel rush when Call of Duty Vanguard launched on November 5th. As previous games, plenty more maps will be added during the life cycle during the fan favorite franchise. So wow, that was fast. So we got through all the maps. So there was about 2 or 3 large maps, and then we have, like, let's say another, 6 medium, and then another 6 or 7 medium, and then 4 or 5 small. So I would say that's a pretty good ratio. And the large maps, there always haven't been too many large maps in Call of Duty, because I don't know if it's because Ground War is not as popular or whatever the deal is. So, and again, with Call of Duty being an arcade first-person shooter, you know, and at this point, I think if combat pacing is going to be something that stays in the game for Call of Duties to come, I will say that bigger maps are actually going to be more embraced, because when you have that many more players on the map and everybody's actually moving, granted the map is designed correctly, that supports that, and everything else that's being implemented into the game supports that, multiple playstyles without being punished the way Modern Warfare 2019 used to punish players, I would say we have a lot to look forward to, especially when it comes to future content in this game, and hopefully Sledgehammer Games does it right. And if they pay attention like they have been paying attention in terms of what we're going to get from beta, in terms of the changes that we got from beta to launch, I'm actually very eager and looking forward to seeing what they do. And if they do it as well as they did these new changes that we just found out about yesterday or the day before, as of depending on when you watch this video and when I upload it, I'm telling you, we have a lot to look forward to, and Sledgehammer Games is on track to win best developer or most community friendly developer out of the 3 in Call of Duty. It looks like they're aiming to do so. So let me know what you guys think of these maps in terms of the look, the color palette. How do you think they're going to play, the map ratio, the combat pacing, and everything mentioned here? Let me know down in the comment section. I'm really curious as to what you guys think. All right, and that's all I got for this one, and I'll talk to you guys on the next one. Enjoy.